What do you think our planet would look like in 500 years from now? What you picture, is it good or bad? Some studies suggest that by 2500, Earth's climate will have cooled back down to near little ice age conditions. Other studies predict that ongoing climate change will render much of the planet too hot for human life by 2300. Climate change occurs when changes in Earth's climate result in new weather patterns that remain in place for an extended period of time. This length of time can be as short as a few decades to as long as millions of years. Climate change is a very debatable topic, and some people think that climate change isn't real, and some people say that it is. I think that it is real, and we are going through it right now, and we need to do something about it. Climate change is very important, and it needs to be dealt with, and here are some reasons why. Bill Nye once said, "Climate change is happening, humans are causing it, and I think this is perhaps the most serious environmental issue facing us." Climate.nasa.gov states that it involves many different things such as science, economics, society, and politics, and it is a global problem that will be around for decades and centuries to come. 11% of the world's population is currently vulnerable to climate change impacts such as droughts, floods, heat waves, extreme weather events, and sea level rise. The concentration of carbon dioxide in our atmosphere as of 2018 is the highest it has been in 3 million years. It is the heat-trapping greenhouse gas that has driven recent global warming lingers in the atmosphere for hundreds of years. So even if we stopped emitting all greenhouse gases today, global warming and climate change will continue to affect future generations. So if we want to help slow down the rate of climate change and save our planet, we need to start now, and we need to work together because it affects all of us. We would also save different animals' lives by not destroying their habitats. GlobalChange.gov informed me that Earth's climate is now changing faster than at any point in history of modern civilization, primarily as a result of human activities. Climate change has already resulted in a wide range of impacts across every region of the country and many parts of the economy that are expected to grow in the coming decades. Global sea level has risen by about 8 inches since reliable record keeping began in 1880. It is projected to rise another 1 to 2 feet by 2100. 17 of the 18 warmest years have occurred since 2000. By the end of this century, what have been once in 20-year extreme heat days are projected to occur every 2 or 3 years over most of the nation. Science.howstuffworks.com acknowledges that while the climate record has no perfect analog for the changes we expect as a result of our dramatic increase in heat-trapping gases since the Industrial Revolution, we can use a climatic event that happened 55 million years ago as an example of our potential climate future. Earth's average global temperature rose approximately 11 degrees Fahrenheit. The result of this rapid temperature increase wiped out plants and animals that couldn't adapt to these new conditions. Along with sea ice, many of the world's glaciers are melting due to climate change. Since the 1960s, the U.S. Geological Survey has tracked the mass of 2 glaciers in Alaska and 1 in Washington state, all 3 of which have shrunk considerably in the past 40 years. In order to help save our planet, we need to lower our emission of greenhouse gases. We should switch to solar energy instead of burning fossil fuels. Using solar energy is one of the better forms of energy because it is unlimited and it is good for our environment. Solar energy is also a renewable resource, meaning so long as the sun exists, we will not run out of sunlight to power our homes, cars, and other possessions. Fossil fuels, on the other hand, are non-renewable resources. Once we have used up our fossil fuel stores, that's all we have. The oil industry is huge, and it will be hard for all of us to switch over to solar energy because of its affordability and its accessibility. The oil industry has been around since the early 1900s, and it is more well known than the solar industry. More and more people are slowly switching over to solar because of its benefits. We have started to realize that climate change is very serious, and we are already feeling some of the effects right now. So many countries around the world have come together and made the Paris Agreement. UNFCCC.int claims that the Paris Agreement's central aim is to strengthen the global response to the threat of climate change by keeping a global temperature rise well below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, and to pursue efforts to limit the temperature increase even further to 1.5 degrees Celsius. The agreement aims to strengthen the ability of countries to deal with the impacts of climate change. To reach these goals, appropriate financial flows, a new technology framework, and an enhanced capacity building framework will be put in place in line with their own national objectives. Even though that we have started to realize that climate change is real, some people still think that it is a hoax. Many people think that the climate has changed before, or that we are heading into an ice age. These facts are true. The Earth's climate has changed many times. So with it changing again right now, what would be the difference? Anti-global warming skeptics say the placement of some weather stations in urban areas may produce inaccurate measurements. The annual temperature between 1998 and 2007 decreased, despite the 4% increase in carbon dioxide in the atmosphere during the same period. Most skeptics of global warming don't dismiss it outright, they just don't believe us humans are causing the problem. I personally believe that climate change is real and that it is going on as we speak. We need to try and help slow down the rate at which it is going because we are already feeling the effects of it right now. Scientists have done an extensive research on this topic and they have basically proven that climate change is real. It starts with an increase in global temperature, then it leads to strange weather patterns, and so on. Once we have strange weather patterns, then that could ruin our environment and the animals that live in it. Some people believe that global warming is fake and that scientists are just making it up. I see where they're coming from, but if we just try to ignore it, then our Earth will be destroyed. So we might as well try and save our planet while we have the chance. If we help clean up our environment, there will be an endless amount of benefits. Several countries in our world have already started this, and they came together and they created the Paris Agreement, which is a very good thing. Hopefully we can keep coming up with other ideas to help save this amazing planet that we live on.
Thank God.
I was like running